So which is the best for the storing the data while creating the user authentication using the Express. So I research on that. So when we compare the both MongoDB and SQL, so we can use both MongoDB, MySQL can be used for user authentications with Express.js. But the choice between them are depend on various factors such as your project requirements, scalability needs, familiarity, when the technology, and the nature of your data. So using the MongoDB and the MySQL, both are working, both are doing the same work. But it is dependent on our project that what's our project requirements, what's scalability needs. So we can choose the database on the project requirements. So here is the small difference between the MongoDB and the MySQL. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database, which means it offers flexibility in schema design and it's particularly good for handling unstructured and semi-structured data. So MongoDB is a NoSQL database. We are using JavaScript to work with it. It handles the unstructured and semi-structured data. But in SQL, SQL is relational database management system that use structured query language for managing and manipulating data. So MongoDB handle the unstructured and semi-structured data, and MySQL handle the structured data. And the MongoDB, it's well suited for application where the data structure may evolve over time or when you have complex data relations. So when our data is changed time by time, so we have to use the MongoDB, and our data relationships is complex. So we have to choose the MongoDB for our data storage. In MySQL, it is mature and widely used database. So MySQL is a very useful. It is very popular that widely used in the world. So many people are using MySQL and MongoDB. Mainly the master developers use the MongoDB, but MySQL is used for used by the whole programmers that store the data, that interact with the database and store the user informations and the system with strong assets. So MySQL has four properties, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So atomicity means the data we store is unique, and no any legacy or duplication is do in the MySQL. So when we store a data of user information, if we store the data with the same user information, that it will not happen. So it will give us the error that this data is already stored in a database. And the consistency, it is consistent and it will store the data and manage it efficiently. And third is isolation. Isolations means when the data is secure and the only that have access to show the data, the only person, the developer can see the data. No anybody can see it. And durability, it is wide range database that used in overall the world, and it is very durable. Compliance, making it suitable for application requiring transaction and data integrity. So the MySQL is suitable for the applications that require transaction and data integrity. And the MongoDB JSON-like document structure make it easy to work with JavaScript and JSON-based applications such as those built with Express.js. So MongoDB store the data in the form of a JSON file, JSON format. So in JSON format, we store the data in the form of objects that the data is stored in the key value pair. So we can access the values by using the keys. So for example, we are taking the username. So the key is the username and value is the name of the user. So it will makes it easy to work with the JavaScript and JSON based application like Express.js, Next.js, Node.js, and extra. MySQL is well known for its performance and scalability, and especially for application with complex queries and relationships. So MySQL is a has a good performance and scalability, especially application that have a complex queries, like we can write the queries for the join the tables, and we can extract the data with complex queries and relationships. It horizontally scalable, which means it can handle large volume of data and high throughput if properly configured. So if we have huge amount of data, so we can store it in the MongoDB and it will easy to handle it. So when we have a data about millions of users. So it is easy to handle in the MongoDB. In the MySQL, it is a robust code for relational data modeling and is often preferred for applications with strict data consistency requirement. So, for example, we have a unstructured data, huge amount of data. So it is difficult to handle it in the MySQL. So we have to use the MongoDB that helps to handle the data efficiently, and it will help to mm, extract the data that we required for the user authentication. So it will easily extract from the MongoDB. But in MySQL, it is quite difficult to write the queries to abstract the data because it is not efficient to store the unstructured or semi-structured data. It is mainly based on the structured data. So when it comes to the user authentication in Express.js, both MongoDB and MySQL can be used efficiently. MongoDB flexibility might be advantageous if you have changing authentication requirements or if you are already using MongoDB in your stack. On the other hand, if you are required strict data consistency or have a well-defined relational data model, MySQL might be better fit. So when like we are using the MongoDB earlier, so we can use the MongoDB in our stack. It is flexible and it will give us many advantages to work with the database. But in the other hand, if we want the data consistency, means we don't want that the data is changed and corrupt, so we can use the MySQL. Ultimately, the better choice depends on your specific use cases, project requirements, and team expertise and scalability needs. Consider evaluating both options based on your criteria to determine which database fit best for your user authentication needs. So, final conclusion is that we can use both MongoDB and the MySQL. So, if we our team are working on MongoDB and they are working easily, they know they have a knowledge more about MongoDB. So we have to use the MongoDB, or the our project requirements are based on the MySQL. So we have to use the MySQL. That's also
So let me validate it why we need MySQL in our project, right?
yes,
So there would
yes, sir.
be use cases where you will use MongoDB, but for user ID password, first thing is we are already using MySQL, and I will validate
Yes, sir.
it giving the reason. Come down, the next slide. Okay, so first thing is we have this data as structured. Okay, this is not semi-structured or unstructured data, and it is a stable data. When I say stable, user information, user profile is stable, and based on the
Yes,
user
sir.
information, roles, permissions, or any other activities which that users will be doing, it will be very much linked with that user ID. So the features for relational database would be used there. So that involves the ACID property also. So where using the ACID property, we will be able to control so many transactions as well. Okay. Now coming about the performance, so MySQL definitely gives very good performance, and our user base is not like Facebook or Twitter. Since it is
Yes,
a service platform, its volume would be much lesser than Facebook or Twitter kind of applications. So that
yes, sir.
it meets the MySQL requirement. Then
Okay.
relational database modeling also, those all features also will be needing, which will be mapped with the user ID basically. That is
Yes,
why
sir.
user details we will do it in this. Okay. So now, as a part of the next activity, what you do is you design the database table. Okay, I have the database script, design table, means designs everything, but I will give that to you tomorrow after you try out about this. Okay,
Sir, I
now
have to make a full authentication, or I have to only
I'll
make a
give you an
table.
Excel template. I'll give you
Yes,
one
sir.
Excel file template. Okay,
Yes,
in
sir.
that Excel file template, you basically try to fill up that form. That will give an
Yes, sir.
idea
So I have to
how to
fill
do
the
the DB
Excel
table.
data into the MySQL table.
So I will give you one Excel template. Okay. In that Excel template, you need to fill up what are the tables you need. what are the columns will be there, what will be primary key, what will be the unique key, what will be the size of those columns, right? So you will have an experience of a database design.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll give you that template, fill that out. Tomorrow I will review it. Okay, and I will give you your the inputs, what is missing, what is good, what is bad in that, and then finally I'll give you the one which we have already developed. Okay,
Okay,
along with
sir.
the scripts. Script also you write along with the database design, so that once you are done you are done. I will review it. After that, I will give you the ones which we have it ready made.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Once that is done, then I will ask you for doing API design. I will give you a template for API design also. What should be the endpoint? What should be the request payload, response payload, error scenarios? So all those things are there in the template. You need to basically think through with the innovative ideas and fill up that form. So that will give you the idea how to do API design.
Okay, sir.
Once DB design is done, API design is done, then you will start coding. Okay,
Okay, sir.
and you have chosen Express.js, so you will start with Express.js, and you can do that.
Okay, sir.
Anything else in your mind you want to?
No, sir.